In our previous discussion, we have discussed what is knocking, mechanism of knocking, especially knocking of gasoline. So knocking of diesel occurs in different mechanism. So how to prevent knocking? So knocking can be prevented by using high octane rating fuel, that is gasoline, by using anti-knocking agents, and by using critical compression ratio. So high octane rating fuel we can use. So before that we can also use anti-knocking agents. So what are these anti-knocking agents? Let's discuss today. And what is power alcohol? So today we're going to discuss what are anti-knocking agents and power alcohol. So anti-knocking agents are small substances which when present in smaller quantity inhibit the knocking tendency of the fuel. So the knocking tendency of the fuel can be decreased by adding certain small chemical substances, and those chemical substances are known as anti-knocking agents. So what are those anti-knocking agents? What are those chemical substances? The commonly used anti-knocking agents were tetraethyl lead and tetramethyl lead. So this tetraethyl lead and tetraethyl lead both mixed together, they're called as tetraethyl methyl lead. So TEL, TML and mixed TEL and TML are used as anti-knocking agents, are used to prevent the knocking tendency of the fuel. So this tetraethyl lead or tetramethyl lead forms lead and lead oxide free radicals. This lead and lead oxide free radicals inhibits the explosive reaction, prevents the explosive reaction. So prevents the fuel from forming peroxide, dimethyl peroxide, and propagation of that particular reaction, thereby minimizing the reaction. But this lead and lead oxide also have certain limitations. These anti-knocking agents were not used. So after 1990 they were used, later they were stopped using. So the fuel which contains TEL and TML as a anti-knocking agents, it is called as leaded petrol. The fuel which does not contain this TEL and TML as a anti-knocking agents, it is called as unleaded petrol. Why did we stop using this TEL and TML? Because the lead was emitted out of the exhaust. So when we started inhaling the exhaust, so when it is highly dense area, highly polluted area, so the gas, the fuel comes out, the exhaust comes out. The exhaust contains carbon monoxide, lead and lead oxide. So this lead and lead oxide, when we inhale, it causes many health disorders. Once it has come to notice of government, it is completely prevented using the TL and TML. Instead of that, they started using some other organic additives. So what are those organic additives? They are nothing but methyl esters. So that is methyl tertiary butyl ether or ethyl tertiary butyl ether or mixed ethyl methyl tertiary butyl ether. So organic additives were added. So what are those? MTBE, ETBE or mixed METBE. This methyl tertiary butyl ether, ethyl tertiary butyl ether. So these contain oxygen in the ether group. Ether, right? What is ether? It contains additional oxygen. So this oxygen enhances more complete combustion and prevents forming peroxides, prevents formation of peroxides. If peroxide is not formed, then further aldehydes and those things are not formed. If those are not formed, and these gases will not hit the inner walls on Krishna region, thereby we can prevent the what? We can prevent knocking. So the fuel which does not contain TEL and TML as anti-knocking agent, and if it contains MTBE, ATB or mixed METBE, then such type of fuel is called as unleaded petrol. So now we are using whatever fuel we are using, it is completely, it is unleaded petrol itself. Okay, so leaded petrol we are not going to use, because so almost all two-wheelers are equipped with catalytic converter. If leaded petrol is used, lead will poison the catalyst used, that is rhodium or palladium catalyst used, and catalytic converter will no more function. So when you go for emission test, it will show high and you will be penalized. So in order to prevent that, so we're going to use unleaded petrol, and no petrol bunk will sell the leaded petrol. Okay, so this is regarding anti-knocking agents. So instead of using petrol or diesel, we can use some other fuel called as power alcohol. So alcohol by itself can be used as a fuel, but it is highly combustible. We cannot use alcohol directly as a fuel. So for that, some engine changes can be used. So when ethyl alcohol is mixed with petrol and used as a fuel, it is known as power alcohol. And the question is, how much percentage of alcohol should be mixed? So 25% of alcohol can be mixed with petrol and can be used. 25% means how much? So for 1 liter, that is 1000 ml, 250 ml of alcohol, remaining 750 ml is petrol. So 1 liter of that 1 liter contains 250 ml of ethanol and 750 ml of petrol. So that is called that is the proportion is 25%. Okay, maximum is 25%. So if you are mixing petrol and alcohol, and if you're using it as a fuel, then it is called as pour alcohol. But one thing is, petrol and alcohol will not, they are two immiscible liquids. They are like oil and water. When you mix oil and water, what happens? Depending upon the density, one will be lower, one will be above, right? So alcohol and petrol are two immiscible liquid, and hence in order to make it a single phase solution, blending agents such as benzene, ether, etc. are added. So in presence of benzene, ether, what happens? It forms a single phase solution and it can be used as a fuel in our IC engines. So without any much modifications in the IC engine. So what are the advantages? Pour alcohol, the pour alcohol's octane number is high, octane rating is high compared to normal gasoline. So since the octane rating of pour alcohol is high, the knocking tendency is less. So octane rating of the fuel and knocking tendency are inversely proportional. If octane rating is high, knocking tendency is low. If octane rating is less, knocking tendency will be high. So if the alcohol present in the pour alcohol will absorb any moisture present, thereby it promotes more smooth combustion. So if you are using a pour alcohol, the efficiency of the alcohol will also be more. The efficiency of pour alcohol also is higher compared to normal gasoline. So therefore, and it undergoes more complete combustion and provides a smooth combustion. So these, and the power output of the pour alcohol also is high. So these are the advantages of our pour alcohol. If there is some pros, there should be some cons also. There are advantages, then there should be some disadvantages. So what are the disadvantages? Pour alcohol may cause corrosion. So how does it cause corrosion? Alcohol. What is alcohol? OH. So OH will get oxidized to aldehyde. Aldehyde will further get oxidized to carboxylic acid. So acid, right? Acid in the sense carboxylic acid. So when though it is a carboxylic acid, it will corrode the engine parts, or it will corrode the inner parts of engine and piston, thereby decreasing the life of engine. The life of engine will decrease. Okay, so this is one of the major disadvantage of our of pour alcohol. So the calorific value of pour alcohol is less. Okay, and we are supposed to regulate the air entering into the cylinder. If air entering into the cylinder is not monitored, then the engine may explode. So these are the few disadvantages of pour alcohol. Okay, so thank you. So to next we'll discuss some other alternative fuel. So for other than petrol and diesel, the alternate fuel is our power alcohol. Okay, so here also it contains petrol. So other than this, what are the other alternate fuels? We'll discuss in our next discussion. Thank you.